Today I messed up by wearing sweatpants to work, for 7 years, NSFW. Obvious and obligatory not today, but an ongoing fuck-up. I hate jeans. I hate jeans. I will wear them as necessary to not look like a scrub, but I'd honestly rather wear slacks or khakis as needed. My preferred bottom misri basketball shorts or sweatpants, and I can and do wear them almost all the time. When I changed location at work about 6 to 7 years ago, I moved to a position that requires long pants, and I obviously chose sweats because I may as well be somewhat comfortable at work. What I failed to understand is that the sweatpants are what Ron Burgundy would describe as flattering in the crotchal region. This is not a brag, I am average in that department. I'm also a grower, not a shower. I know it seems ridiculous, but I was not aware of this function my pants were providing. I just don't really think about my penis that much. I also don't expect anyone to be taking a good long look. Call me naive, I guess. A couple weeks ago, I was informed by a female coworker that she was warned about where she looked on a job by a male coworker as I was slinging penis, which is a term I'd never heard and baffled me. My bulge was very prominent. My surprise led me to asking others if this was actually the case, since that's not exactly the vibe I'm looking to put out at work. I'm happily married and not looking. I was further informed that indeed many people had noticed and commented, though obviously not to me, that I was really putting myself out there, as the saying goes. To make matters more complicated? Worse? I had switched to first shift several years ago, and the people had also discussed the subject at length. The result was that I must be going without underwear. Not true. Today I messed up by wearing new underwear on a booty call. You know when you're wearing a new tee and you get that new shirt belly button fluff. Went to meet an old hookup for the first time in ages. We knew what we were there for, so after a few DRKs we headed straight to hers. As soon as we were in the door, she DRs to her knees, and under the glare of her bright hallway lights proceeds to pull out my dick, and immediately recoils in horror. So it turns out that the new, and rather dashing, purple briefs that I had just bought had shed an unreasonable amount of cotton, which had adhered to my old chap in a rather unflattering way. Essentially, the end of my cock was rocking a purple goatee complete with a nutsack that looked like a strip club beanbag. After her initial horror, I explained what must have happened. We tried to get back to it, but the giggles had set in. She said she couldn't get the image of my Tadger singing Craig David songs out of her head, and an hour later I left with blue balls instead of purple ones. Today I messed up by knowing nothing about computers. Obligatory 13 years ago. I, male 14, got a state-of-the-art HP Mini 210 notebook laptop for Christmas this year, running a brand new OS called Windows 7. A massive upgrade to the Windows XP I grew up with. I genuinely believed this was a top-of-the-line PC. My dad insisted this was the case, and I had no reason to doubt his wisdom. The specs for every computer I had in the past started with Mega, and now computers are Giga, which means that they are factually 2 billion times better. One day, my good friend, male 14, came round early one morning and told me about this brand new concept of PC gaming. Apparently it's how people used to play games before consoles. We sat down side by side on this tiny laptop and eagerly downloaded an up-and-coming gaming software called Steam, where you could buy video games digitally. Bro, where's the disc? Eventually, via copper wire broadband, the application downloads. We make an account and explore this candyland of video games. Some of these are classics, some of these we've never heard of before, and they all look amazing. We were skint teenagers, so naturally our eyes endeavored to the sale page, and what do we behold? Grand Theft Auto San Andreas for only £5, and the offer ends today. After about 20 minutes back and forth of, bro, you need to get this, and bro, I need this, we decide to consult the elected head of my household, my mother. My mum is an anxious person to say the least. You mix that with technology and it becomes something nuclear. This was the era of sunglasses wearing hackers and security infomercials, so when I asked for her to put her card details online, she shut that down harder and faster than the recent housing crisis. But alas, After scouring the website for loopholes, we found that there was one last method. The fabled Steam gift voucher. The quest had begun. We searched far and wide in all of the local shops you'd find in South Wales on a winter's day. The co-op, the Spar, even a one-stop, to no avail. We pulled out the big guns and walked to the local supermarket, but the general consensus is, what is a Steam and is it dangerous? Almost defeated, we returned to the drawing board. We got technical. We're talking maps, graphs and charts, modern pioneers. And in our darkest moments we found hope. There was a game store in our local city. They had to have it right? The pressure was on. We were losing daylight and the kitchen clock was ticking louder than ever. We needed to move, and fast. We deciphered the hieroglyphs on the local bus stop and learned the ways of the modern bus commuter. We charmed the doctorer and he permitted us to board for a small fee. We journeyed to the legendary city of Newport, where Dr. Miss come a reality. Dazed and confused from the 15-minute commute, we stumbled from the station and hostility proceeded to the game store. We made it. Only 30 minutes before closing time. We nervously approached the counter and made direct eye contact to the equally nervous cashier. "Excuse me, do you happen to sell Steam gift cards?" We stammered. Absolute silence. Not a good sign. The despair began to kick in. "I'll have to check with someone else," retorted the steward of the game store. To our great fortune, another loyal lifetime employee popped his head round the shop door and belayed, "Ah, PC gamers are we?" We didn't want to get into the intricacies of how we were merely dipping our toes into this niche underground community. Instead we smiled and aggressively nodded. To our great surprise, the smallest denomination of Steam vouchers was £10, which is like £100 to a late 2000s teenager. But we had come this far, we doubled down and made the transaction without hesitation. This was official business and we acted as such. We thanked the ambassador of the business and made it out of the store on wobbly legs. I looked down at my recent purchase in my clutched hand. What I held was power, unlimited potential futures which I could shape and guide via willpower alone. The Steam voucher. We make a return journey, barely able to contain our excitement. This was happening, absolutely nothing could stop us now. We explode through the front door of my parents' house and attack my laptop as if we were angry at it. We furiously and frantically typed in the magic letters on the back of the card into the redemption wizard of Steam and we watched the credit transform from £0. Oh to £10. Oh via the infinite power of WAP internet. We buy the game. We did it. This software is in my possession and no one could ever take it from me again. We knew we had one last step to this journey, and that was to download this game on 100 kilobits per second internet. ETA 3 hours, but what even is time to a teenager when the day's endeavors have inflated our egos to a level not unlike the Beatles at the peak of their fame. We chill out, decompress, DRK some non-alcoholic wine to celebrate. We've earned this. 8:30 p.m. It's time. We grab 2 chairs and form the obligatory, hunched huddle, over the laptop and hit the long-awaited, launch, button. We're getting splash screens. At this point we're beaming at each other. It's working. The game fades in and we get our first objective, get on a bicycle. I eagerly hit the W key, the standard for moving forward in a video game. From here the troubles become apparent. The main character lurches forward and then freezes. The motion continues, but roughly at the pace of 1 step per 6 seconds. The game is juddering all over the place. The audio is slowed and deep, passing cars sound like the screamous of a tortured demon. We make it to the bike and the animation becomes a slideshow. At this point it's been like 5 minutes and we come to the realization that this isn't going to happen. The laptop didn't have the graphical power. We talk over the day's events, and despair quickly turned to hilarity when we realized all the effort we put in to get here today. In truth, it was a lot of fun, and it was truly one of those days where the journey meant more than the destination. We still talk to this day. I consider him a good friend still, even if life has done that thing where we're all mixed in our personal lives and we don't really see each other much anymore. But I will treasure that friendship and the memories of that day forever.